Hello, welcome back. This is the Pigskin Paisanos, and we're going to go over the Week 1 matchup between the Buffalo Bills and the New York Football Jets in the Starts and Sits edition of the Fantasy Football Analysis. So let's get into it. With the Buffalo Bills offense, for starts, I'm going to go ahead and give that boy Josh Allen some love. No, not the linebacker that was taken in the 2019 NFL draft. Of course, I'm talking about the quarterback that was taken in the 2018 draft, Josh Allen. He showed you some surprising running ability that I didn't even know was there. And in the second half of the 2018 regular season, was a great fantasy football player just because of his rushing ability. He's got the cannon. If they can work on the accuracy issues, which could be difficult, that's, I think, why they brought in Cole Beasley. He's another player I'm going to say, believe it or not, I'm going to say give him a start because I think in preseason they showed you that, like, hey, you know, I've heard other fantasy channels talk about it. They analyze it the same way I do, where it's like, Josh, like, not everything has to be a very far pass. Like, you can check down to these shorter passing players that you have here. So I think Cole Beasley could be a sneaky start here. I'll give him wide receiver 3 or flex value. And going back to Josh Allen and what he's known for, I'm going to give John Brown some love here as well for those deep passes that I think could sail over the heads of the Jets defenders. I know they have Jamal Adams as safety, but it seems like their secondary still has a lot of question marks. Not sure what the status is of Marcus May. They have Tremaine Johnson, was a really big disappointment last year for them in their secondary. So I think John Brown could have big playability, could get a lot of targets. And unfortunately, I'm going to say, to the dismay of a lot of people in fantasy football, give Frank Gore a start. Put him in as flex. And people might hear this and automatically want to do a thumbs down or just say, what are you talking about? Dude, listen, you're not going to find somebody that was higher on Devin Singletary before you even knew who Devin Singletary was. Trust me. I do planning and draft strategy months before people do. I'm always scouting rookies. One of my favorite rookies out of FAU, but I just see what Frank Gore does when it was Marlon Mack's rookie year. What happened? Oh, Frank Gore's going to give Eaton all the touches. Last year, a lot of people, myself included, thought Kenyon Drake, breakout season. What did Adam Gase, Dowell Loggains, and Frank Gore tell you? No, I don't think so, bro. And you hear it already with the Buffalo Bills coaching staff. They're telling you from the beginning that Frank Gore, Devin Singletary, and TJ Yeldon are all going to be splitting work in a committee. Frank Gore arguably looked like the best running back in preseason. I just have a feeling that, unfortunately, if you have any of these running backs, Frank Gore is going to be the one to start, and there's nothing that I want to say, but it's just how I'm going to say it. And I'm also going to say that the Bills' defense and special teams, if you have them, could be a good start here as well. We'll see how that works out. We're going to go into the sits, as I said before. If you have Devin Singletary, you got to sit him. I mean, could you maybe sneak him in as a flex? Sure. Got great talent. Very elusive. Obviously, they got rid of LaShawn McCoy, and, with hopes that, like, oh, wow, like, we spent high draft capital on Devin Singletary. He's got 3 down talent. Like, let's utilize him. But as I said before, unfortunately, I just think they're going to use a committee. So I would take a wait-and-see approach with Devin Singletary. Sit TJ Yeldon. And another one I'm going to say is a sit Zay Jones. I think it's arguably between him and John Brown, the Buffalo Bills wide receiver 1. So that's just how I'm feeling about it. I said to start Josh Allen, but I think it's because of the running upside he provides. I might have trashed the Jets defense a little bit, but they do have a pretty good front 7. I know that Avery Williamson went down, season-ending injury, which really stinks, but they still brought over C.J. Mosley. They drafted Quinnen Williams. They have Leonard Williams. Like, they have a pretty good front 7. So I just think not all these wide receivers can really do well, so that's where I'm coming with that. Over onto the New York Jets. For starts, I'm going to say Le'Veon Bell. Obviously, you have to. I mean, Paul and I have a little slight disagreements on the value of Le'Veon Bell, but either way, I mean, you drafted him in probably the late first round, early second. You're hoping that the Jets are just going to, as he was quoted recently saying to the Jets coaching staff, give me as many plays as you can. I know there's some people like myself that point out that, this could be slightly more of a committee based on how Adam Gase coached with Dowell Loggains. I'm not sure if I ever can pronounce that guy's name right, offensive coordinator down in Miami. That it could be more of a committee than people expect it to be with Ty Montgomery and Bilal Powell. Ty Montgomery actually looked pretty solid in the preseason, so we'll see how that works out. But either way, Lev Bell, he's going to get the rushing attempts. He's obviously going to get the passing work, so you start him. Another start I'm going to go with is Jamison Crowder. And as one of my fellow fantasy football friends who I'm in a league with said, man, you just can't quit Jamison Crowder. And he's right, I can't, because the guy obviously has talent. He just has never been able to stay healthy. When he was down in Washington, he was constantly battling lower leg issues, it seemed like, almost every week, every year. But you know what? I'm going to base it on what I've heard all off-season in practice, how the established connection between him and Jamison Crowder and Sam Darnold has looked. I'm going to base it off of the little bit we saw in preseason with Jamison Crowder. And so, yeah, if you want to plug him in as your flex, you can. For sits, I'm going to go with Robbie Anderson. I think as of now, the recording this video, he's still dealing with injury. If he had been playing, or if he's active, I would have told you, yeah, start him. I think he actually could have a pretty good year here. But I'm going to say sit on him. I'm going to say sit on Quincy Enunwa. And I'm going to say sit on Sam Darnold. And I think the reason why is just because if you don't have Robbie Anderson, Chris Herndon IV, your tight end, who looked great, isn't going to be available, because he's a 4-game suspension. Just leaves you really with Quincy Enunwa and Jamison Crowder. And for that reason, I'm just going to say, because of the Buffalo Bills defense, sit Sam Darnold this year. I don't think that Sam Darnold is going to look as bad as he did in the first half of 2018 this year as he did. I don't think he's going to start out as bad as he did last year, but I just don't think this matchup is going to be that favorable to him, and I think because of the circumstances, you sit him. All right, that's going to be it for today's video. Hope to see you in the next one.